This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Don't mistake the new me for the old me. They can't stop me now, I'm with the home team. No beginner, I'm a winner. Took a couple losses, now I'm cooking, let me simmer. Yeah, yeah, tunnel vision, all I see is win, 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 win. This my city section where you been. We move faster along, but go further together. We can weather any weather forever. A dream team, I done seen things. Confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, out here celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. You probably thought you knew. A new day is approaching, turn the gray skies into blue. I grew up on these same blocks, school of hard knocks. Had to get it on a hard top, took the hard shots, but we made it. Anticipated, highly decorated. The home team is winning, celebrated. The victory is all mine, and everything is alright, alright. And you know how to see things, confidence is on 100,000. I got family for miles, running up the mileage. Made it through some trials and some tribulations. Now me and the team, I had celebrating, yeah. This is where we come from, yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from, yeah, we made it. Now the whole team celebrating. We like, oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for Friday, January the 9th, 2026, man. Can y'all believe that we are already in 9 days into 2026? That is crazy. I hope everybody's having a great start to the new year. Whatever you have started or whatever plans you have, I hope that they all come to pass this year. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got Kelly, Mike, Cordell, Bradley, but not the Bradley. What's up, Fave? We got Braylon, King, Sergey, Detroit, Michigan. What up, what up? Who else we got? We got Schiff. We got Nephew. What up, what up? Man, Rich, Raw Detroit, what up? I'm still struggling with the date. I keep adding 2025. Yeah, bro. Like, yo, we're like 9 days in to the year already. Man. Hard to believe that the Lions aren't playing football tomorrow. I kind of forgot that there's football this weekend. I think there's a game. There's 2 games tomorrow. It's like 3-2-1 or something like that. And the Lions, for the first time in 2 years, are not playing in the postseason. We got Brad's presser. We had Dan's presser. And there's a lot to take from this. Yesterday, I had a good time with the presser. But it was interesting and a wee bit disappointing at the same time. And I'm going to give you kind of my thoughts after sleeping on it and what I think is going to be the case and what to expect from Brad Holmes. This offseason is going to be something, though. I can assure you of that. But the first thing that I want to say, what up, bud? What's going on, man? Jay, what up, what up? Darian says, we're good. If Monty is out, I'm gone with him. Andy, that's exactly what I was going to get into. So let's get into it, man. So everybody heard Dan Campbell's press conference to end the season, and it was Brad Holmes that we were waiting on. We finally got to hear from him yesterday, the 8th of January, for the first time this early since the 2022 season. We would be playing football this weekend or have the bye week like we did last weekend. But instead, players have packed out their lockers. They've gone home, and Brad had to address the media. There was a lot of things that he said. I saw humble humility. I saw some arrogance as well, but I mostly saw somebody who appears to have learned from his mistakes. But that was just by body language, some of the things he was saying, but some of the things we're saying as well that we're not going to change. We're going to keep the same thing going. And we have all offseason to discuss that. And by May 1st, we will know if Brad Holmes is the guy. That's it. We will know it, and then it will be confirmed this time next year. If the Lions make a Super Bowl, he's the guy. If we don't, he's not. That's it. He has 2 years left on his deal. And speaking about somebody who has multiple years left on a deal, the words from Brad Holmes about David Montgomery instantly irritated me. And I put on Twitter, to me now, there are 2 fireable offenses. And I'm going to tell you why I feel this way. There are 2 fireable offenses for Brad Holmes, immediate fireable offenses. 1, you re-sign Marcus Davenport, instantly fired. I would have Martha fire him. Number 2 is trading away David Montgomery. Now, the pushback that I'm getting is we're too emotional. We're too attached to these players. It has nothing to do with that. I'm going to tell you why I believe if Brad Holmes trades David Montgomery, he should be fired. The number 1 reason is because you extended him. That's why you should be fired. At this point, it will become glaringly obvious that you don't know what the heck you're doing. Because I look deeper than the surface. And at surface level, it's, we trade David Montgomery. He's an older running back. He has a cap hit of such and such. We can always replace him. Okay. All right. That's surface level. Deeper level, beyond the iceberg beneath the surface is, why are you saying that when you extended him just 1 year after you signed him? David Montgomery had a 3-year deal. You were so eager to keep him here after 1 year that you gave him an extension. So why would you not make it work? And Brad Holmes coming out saying things like, we would like it to be here. We want to do what's best for him. And if it's not here, then we understand. The dude is still under contract. Why would it not be here? I don't understand this. Why would it not be here? So because you don't know these things, then how much do you really know as general manager? How much have you stumbled into, and how much is skill and talent? David Montgomery belongs on the Detroit Lions, not just because we're attached to him. As a matter of fact, not at all. Because Jahmyr Gibbs, in my opinion, he might have lead back quality, but he has not been a lead back this year. Not only that, David Montgomery is the yin to his yang. Every running back, Barry Sanders is probably one of the only ones that did not need a tandem. That's it. Even Derrick Henry has somebody that comes in and spells him. If you have just the one running back whose name is not Barry Sanders, then you are going to paint yourself into a corner. And for everything I love about Jahmyr Gibbs, he is not David Montgomery and vice versa. They have 2 different skill sets. Why would you not utilize both of them? So what I'm disappointed about and why Brad Holmes should be fired to me is because yesterday, instead of coming out, and one thing I can say about Andrew Berry and how dumb he is for not parting ways with Myles Garrett, because Myles Garrett is the key to making his team better as a whole collectively, is Myles Garrett will come out and say, Andrew Berry will come out and say, you ain't going nowhere. We not trading you. You going to be here whether you like it or not. Why would you not, if you're Brad Holmes, you come out and say, the first thing you should have said was, David Montgomery is a critical piece to this success and to our team going forward. We will find a way. Why would you not come out and say that? You started with, he didn't get the carries and things didn't go. We would have liked it to go that way, but it didn't. And we want to put him in the best situation. And if it's not here, then we want to do. What do you mean if it's not here? That's the part that why, to me, he should be fired. You didn't come out and you didn't say, hey, David Montgomery, we got your back. The Lions, I'm going to tell you what, and I'm starting to feel this. I told you this before. The rumors and the rumblings that you hear that sometimes are leaked out and kind of assumed, there is a lot of truth to those. Now, I know that we upgraded after Jamal Williams, and when we did not re-sign Jamal Williams, some of the fan base was very upset because Jamal Williams was the heart of this team. Now you see, remember when he said, he being Brad Holmes, that Jamal Williams was a priority. And then Jamar said he felt disrespected. Now, we upgraded since then. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the behind the scenes. Then Brad says later, the following year, that Josh Reynolds was a priority. Next thing you know, Josh Reynolds is not on this team. So that's 2 times now that these players were priorities and they don't return to the Detroit Lions. The argument is not whether we wanted him to come back. The argument is what was said behind the scenes. And then that was made public when Brad himself said that both of these individuals are priorities and neither one of them signed. So the point that I'm making is this. Brad Holmes, there is no reason that David Montgomery should not be a Detroit Lions for at least the next 2 seasons. There's no reason at all. Point blank, period. I could see if we were moving on because his contract was over, and I would still be like, okay, make sure that this is the right move, because there's a lot of things that the Detroit Lions are going to need to do in the offseason. And when you have not a backup running back, but a 1A and a 1B running back tandem who's under contract, why would you try to replace that when you need so much more? So if I'm Brad Holmes, I say, hey, things didn't go the way we wanted to. I understand David Montgomery is a warrior. He wants to be there for his team. We will find a way to get him more involved. When we hire an OC, I want to know what his plan is. Why would you not come out and say that and say, well, to a guy who's currently under contract for 2 more years, why would you not come out and say, hey, we know this year wasn't like he wanted it to be, but he's a warrior. All the things he does for the team, we're going to recoup that. We're going to reciprocate that and say, hey, we know it didn't work out. That's on us. We'll find a way to get you more involved. Who knows? Maybe that's why we need to go to the playoffs, because we stopped doing what was working. Don't forget, this is the same man that ran over Devon Witherspoon. This is that same man who every time he gets the ball 9 out of 10 times goes forward. His design is to go forward. What I saw yesterday was a disappointment. It really was, coming from a guy. And again, I can respect the GMs that come out and say, hey, you can whine, you can cry, you can complain all you want. You ain't going nowhere. I respect that. I respect it, even though it's like, yo, when you got a piece like Myles Garrett and you can get 3 first-round picks, you got to at least entertain it. But I like the fact that he came out and said, yo, you ain't going nowhere. That ain't what I heard yesterday, and I'm disappointed in that. I'm disappointed in the fact that you had a guy that you brought in. You signed him to a 3-year deal. You extended him after 1 year because he was that valuable. And here's the key, too, as to why I say that I would fire Brad Holmes. When you signed David Montgomery, Swift was still here. You happened to snag Jahmyr Gibbs. You traded away Swift. Gibbs and Monty have always been together. You didn't wait 1 year after you signed him, or 2 years after you signed him, or even now. Now, this is year 3 of David Montgomery. He still has 2 more years because we extended him after 1 year. If Brad Holmes really thought and the plan was really to lean into Jahmyr Gibbs, why would you extend David Montgomery after 1 year instead of waiting to see exactly how it was going to play out? So to me, if you did that, and then now you're talking about 2 years later that if it's here and we want him to be here, but you're saying anything but, hey, he's part of this team. Why would I believe you really know what you're doing, that you really can take us all the way? There's no doubt that Brad Holmes has some skill when it comes to drafting in certain regards. There's no doubt that he has no idea what he's doing in free agency. But why would I believe that you're the guy that's going to take us to the Super Bowl when you signed David Montgomery after 1 year and you could have waited to see how it played out? And then when he would be a free agent, because keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, had Brad Holmes not extended David Montgomery, he would be a free agent this year, and it would be a slightly different conversation. I'm sure many of you would want us to re-sign Monty and figure out a way to use him. Yesterday's press conference was disappointing with David Montgomery. And you know what we have not talked about at all is Monty's feelings. The writing is on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very, very big possibility that David Montgomery will not be a Detroit Lion. And the Detroit Lions are going to have 2 opportunities. One is to cut him, or B is to trade him. And either way, I'm going to feel some type of way. And again, I will find one person to blame, and his name is Melvin Bradley Matthias Jerome Cornelius. There is nobody else to blame. Every decision the Lions make is his fault. I'm blaming everything on him, point blank. And no, he is not getting too much blame. He is not. He made the decision to draft Jahmyr Gibbs. He made the decision to sign David Montgomery. He made the decision to extend Monty after 1 year instead of waiting for it to play out. He will also make the decision to trade or cut him. All of those are decisions made by him. If he trades David Montgomery, if David Montgomery is not a Detroit Lion in 2026, Brad Holmes needs to be fired. That's it. Marcus Davenport, you need to be fired because obviously those two moves show that you ain't the guy. You ain't the guy. It ain't because I'm feeling some type of way. You're not the guy. Why would you not? Let me ask you a question. Everybody watching this, and when you watch it on playback, do you have the utmost confidence that Jahmyr Gibbs, I know he can be lead back material, and that is, but everybody need a Robin. Every running back needs a Robin. Why would you? So that means, and then if you trade David Montgomery or release him, you have to replace him. Who are you going to get? Somebody cheaper? That's your MO. Are you going to draft somebody and waste a roster, a draft pick for a guy that's already on the team and good at what he does? That is why I would want Brad Holmes fired. That's it. I am going to be on the mountain tops shouting it out. Now we're at fire territory, period. Hot seat right now, both cheeks. Fire territory is re-signing Marcus Davenport, trading David Montgomery, because at that point, I'm convinced you have no idea how to truly get there. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. It has nothing to do with me being attached to David Montgomery at all. You become, players are here, players are not. Some players we get more attached to. I like David Blau. I liked him. He was not the best quarterback, but I liked him. And it was bittersweet to see him go, but at the same time, that was it. David Montgomery, the fact that the Lions did not come out and support him, Brad Holmes, I should say, did not support him like he should have, tells me everything I need to know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Faith, with the super chat, says, what would be worse, lose Montgomery or re-sign Davenport? Ooh. 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 Wow. Okay, what would be worse? Losing Monty. Losing Monty would be worse to me. It would be worse. It would be worse because Davenport, like, there's no winning there. But the fact that you have Monty under contract, that's the point. And how the thing played out with Monty, you sign him, you let Jamal Williams walk, you sign David Montgomery. You are so much impressed by him that you lock him up for 2 more seasons, a running back. You lock him up. What if, here's something that I wish I would have remembered during the segment. What if Brad Holmes is a dirty dog? What if Brad Holmes is a dirty dog? Hear me out. Brad Holmes always anticipated the trade Monty. What if he that slick, bro? You sign him for 3 years. You extend him after 1 to make sure he's under contract so you can use him as trade bait in year 4. Hey, I bet nobody on YouTube has thought about that. I guarantee you that. Monty trade bait, and you knew it from the very beginning. Once you drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, you knew that this was going to happen. That's crazy. Kelly, I could say something about that. Let me see. What's up, Rich? My thing is, what was he supposed to do if Dan and the rest of the coaching staff not using? Okay, Jizz, you missing my point, brother. You missing my point. Okay? This is my point. I am the general manager. David Montgomery, you don't come out and say, well, things didn't go like they were supposed to, and we want him to be here. You started off by saying, if it's not here. So what was he supposed to do is say, David Montgomery is a core piece to this team, and we will find a way to make this work. I understand he's unhappy. I get it. Things didn't work out with the OC. That's what I want. That's what he was supposed to say. He had no control over how they used him, but what he could do is reassure David Montgomery that he is a valuable piece of this team. But that ain't what I heard yesterday. That's not what I heard. Now, if you disagree, let me know. But My thing is, well, if there was a lot of ifs in there. And I'm sure David Montgomery, like, ain't this about a trip? What are you, wow. So all of that stuff during the season, we were right about that, assuming all of those posts and all of that. And your general manager, the dude that signs you in free agency, decides to say, hey, well, we want a situation that's best for that's like your wife. Your wife, my wife saying, yeah, you know what? I love you. But this situation ain't right. It's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. I want you to go and fly and find a better situation. I want you to do that because, I love you like that. I want you to, and I love you so much, I gotta let you go. You're going to be like, what? Say what? You know what I'm saying? Come on, dog. Come on. Instead of saying, you know what? We gonna make this work. Whatever it takes to make it work. As stupid as Andrew Berry is as general manager, how in the heck did he keep his job? When you have Myles Garrett is not going to the Cleveland Browns are 89 players away. They're 89 players away. Okay, they're not one player. They're 89. Myles Garrett is you know what you could get from Myles Garrett? For the next 3 years, you could have 6 first-round picks. And if you really flip it, you could flip some of them first-round picks and get multiple second and third-round picks and really build the core of this team. So that's what I feel like he could have done. Fave said the situation shouldn't even be this serious. It's clear Dan couldn't use him, and the fix is an OC. Then use Gibbs and Monty 50% clearly like before. That's what I'm saying, Fave. That's what I'm saying. And the dude is under contract. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. And it's like, okay, when you get married, you sign an actual marriage license. You can't just be like, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I'm out. Holla at me. You can't just tell your wife or husband to holla at me. They ain't your girlfriend. They not your live-in. Y'all are married by law. So in order to get unmarried, AKA divorced, you have to go through the legal process. David Montgomery is under contract, which is Brad Holmes doing. So why would you not reassure him that we will find a way? And all you could have said was, you know what? David Montgomery he's a team player. He wanted to contribute a lot more, and we messed it up somehow. But we will do everything in our power to make sure that this year is different. Something as simple as that. That's all he had to say. But, hey, you know what? I mean, if he's here, I want him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want him here. But, if it's not here, we going to do what's best for him. That sound like he out. That sound like he out to me. And if he does, I will say I want Brad Holmes fired. At that point, I want him fired. Everything I make will be about firing him. And if he wins a Super Bowl, because here's the bottom line. He got 2 years to prove me wrong. Once I come out and say I want him fired, and I'm almost guaranteed that I will be one of the first, if not the first YouTuber to come out and say I want him fired. I will guarantee if he trades David Montgomery, I will be the first YouTuber to say I want him fired. I want him fired. That's it on the spot. That's it. Because you did this. You signed. That's what I'm trying to get across to y'all. Brad Holmes, the situations that we're in, Brad Holmes put us there. And think about this. Nobody this offseason, 1 out of every 10 people is talking about the NFC Championship game. It seemed like that was 10 years ago. Nobody, because the NFL moves that fast. It moves that fast. Kevin Stefanski fired. Brian Dable fired. Raheem Morris fired after 2 seasons. Pete Carroll done. 1 year. There are 8 openings in the NFL right now. That is a quarter of the league. 24 people still have jobs. 8 do not. That's how fast the NFL moves. And I'm going to tell you what, if we do not win 2 division titles, have a playoff game at Ford Field, all of those things, NFC Championship game, we're having a different conversation about Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Let's be honest. In my opinion, 5 years is plenty of time to be headed in the right direction. Let me see. I mean a dang, I don't give a dang about a crown. Packers general manager said Brad was drafting arrogant, right? You know what? I don't remember. Speaking of Packers, somebody from the Packers is now the Miami Dolphins general manager. That is why Mike McDaniel was fired yesterday. Mike McDaniel was fired yesterday because, in my opinion, they already knew they were going to hire who they hired today, and they fired Mike McDaniel because of that. They knew that the general manager was not going. He wanted to pick his own guy. Depends on who he trade for to me. Okay. All right. So, Kalen, I need a name. I need a name. Who does he trade for? See, to me, it's beyond who are you going to trade for if you trade away David Montgomery? Who realistically are you going to get? You're probably not going to get a player. You're going to get a couple picks. So for everybody that's entertaining this trade, let's trade David Montgomery. What are you getting for him? Shout out to Fave with the super chat says, who's winning tomorrow, Packers or Bears? You know what, man? I don't know. Game is in Chicago. Packers have not won a game since Micah Parsons went down. I'm going to pick the Bears. Odunze, I don't know if he's back. I'm going to pick the Bears. Because for the Packers to win a game will just be like, and I think the Packers and them losing like they have after losing Micah Parsons is a prime example of what it's like when you're one player away. I see that. If the Packers wide receiver core can stay healthy and Micah Parsons doesn't go down, you pretty much have a complete team. Because I guarantee you, man, I feel like if the Packers had Jared Goff or something, like Jordan Love he's still goofy with the back foot throws and he get bailed out a lot, but his defense bails him out a ton. Trey says we wouldn't be talking about Super Bowl either. Okay, so what are we talking about? We talking about if what did I say? If something, remind me of what I said, bro, because I forgot just that quick. He's really playing Madden franchise mode. Brad needs to go. You're not getting much from an aging running back. So many other people to trade, not Monty. Kiera says, honestly, I think these teams fleeced Brad during the draft, saying they're going to pick a player to make him give away resources, but weren't going to draft that player. That could be. I saw the movie Draft Day, and I know it was fictional, but it still was crazy. Rich says, I got a picture of you beside me. Oh, okay. I never drafted. I never donated, and I'm second. It's related to how much hours of content watched. Yes. So, okay. So, the crown. Oh, okay. All right. So the crown is about activity. So if you, I have no idea, like YouTube does this, but basically, okay. It's about how much you comment, and it resets every stream. So it doesn't carry over to like a new stream. It's something that YouTube integrated about a year ago to kind of try to keep engagement, you know what I mean? Or engagement up. So of course, if you donate, they give you more points and stuff like that. But yes, yep. Donation is not a thing that you have to do. It just will add more points. I don't know how it goes. I think Monty wants to trade, not Brad. Okay, Kalen. I get that. But if Monty wants a trade, why? Why does he want to trade? Like, for instance, Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett wanted to trade about a year ago, right? We were talking about Myles Garrett wanting a trade, and Myles walked around like he was never going to play a snap for Cleveland again. He walked around like, I don't care what they do, I'm not playing another snap for them. He walked around. Andrew Berry said, Myles Garrett allegedly tried to talk to the owner of the Browns, and he shot him down. He's like, we don't want to hear anything you have to say. So if Monty wants a trade, if I'm Brad Holmes, I say, why? Why do you want to trade? Okay, well, because I feel like my skill set isn't being utilized enough. Notice that we never heard any complaints from Monty until now. And it just so happens to coincide with us losing Ben Johnson. So if I'm Brad Holmes, we go out to eat and I say, hey, what's going on? Why do you want, hey, you know what? I get it. OC sucked. Our OC situation sucked. That's on us. We'll take that. We'll take that L. But you are a massive part of this organization. We want you here. Here's the plan to get an OC, and that person knows to utilize you. Because I'm going to be real. I don't trust Jahmyr Gibbs as the lead back. Let's have another segment. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be a spicy take, but that's what I do. I am not a follower. I'm usually the one out front. And I'm going to make a spicy take, and I want to get your opinion on it. We heard Brad Holmes on David Montgomery, and we seen David Montgomery post during the season, and there was obvious a disconnect between not only David Montgomery and the Detroit Lions, but the way that they were using him and how David Montgomery felt. Now, is there an issue between Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery? I am now convinced that that's not the case. David has come out verbally on his own Instagram account and defended their relationship. So it could be Cap. I don't think it is. David don't seem like a Cap kind of guy. However, are you ready to commit Jahmyr Gibbs to the lead back? And when I say lead back, I'm talking about bulk of the carries. I'm going to say no. Jahmyr Gibbs is outstanding. And this is another hot take potentially. I think that from a running back complete package standpoint, that Bijan Robinson is the better back. And he went first. Now I see why he went first. Because Bijan has the receiving skills and the running back skills. He might not be as fast as Jahmyr Gibbs, as elusive, as shifty, but he's pretty darn good. And I see why he went as the first running back off the board. And he's capable of being an every down back. Is Jahmyr Gibbs capable? Probably. Are you ready to give him that role? Keep in mind, we have not seen Jahmyr Gibbs without David Montgomery in the running back room. We also got a taste of what it would be like if Jahmyr was, quote unquote, the predominant back. And I think that it's lacking. I do. It could be offensive line related. It could be. Maybe that's the whole thing. You get a decent, you got Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker that can go. Doesn't seem like he's going to be that guy. A fresh, healthy Panay Sewell. You get those guard situation. And now here it is. Jahmyr Gibbs, 30. We're talking about, are you comfortable giving Jahmyr Gibbs 25 to 30 carries a game? He's not really hurt a lot, so I'm not afraid of injury. I just think that we need something to offset Jahmyr. And what I mean by that is Jahmyr can take a hit. He can deliver a hit. He's shifty. If he gets past you, it's going to be very difficult for you to catch him. But what we have not seen to the capacity that we've seen it from this guy is David Montgomery absolutely destroys anybody he touches. It is very difficult to tackle him with the first tackle. He will run you over and put you on a highlight. Jahmyr Gibbs will shake you out of your shoes. Hence the Sonic and Knuckles. I think it was the perfect thing. And now it's slipping away. I am not ready yet to hand the reins exclusively to Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm just not. The dive plays up the middle. Jahmyr is based off speed and edges. If you can't get past, you're not going to get anywhere. When he runs through the middle, he's usually untouched. There's a game, I forgot which game it was. It was in the middle of the season. We had on our black uniforms, comes through the middle, hole opens up, he jump cuts right, he's gone, you're not going to catch him. And I'm not saying that Jahmyr can't take the contact, deliver the contact. We've seen that. I'm just not ready for him to be the premier back because I'm getting afraid where, just like we saw, when Monty came in, because of how they used him this year, you knew the defenses knew what it was going to be. So my thing is, all right, if you're defending Jahmyr Gibbs, make sure you got those edges down, big bodies in the middle, run, gain of 2 yards, 3 yards. Now you're going to put Jared Goff in a play action situation. People are going to be able to tee off on him. You couldn't do that with David Montgomery. David Montgomery would get the ball 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he would get 5 ahead every time. And as we start watching David Montgomery, his carries decrease less and less and less, it seemed like you really got to see the difference between him and Jahmyr, which has already been there. Speed versus power, right? Bruising versus finesse. And I just don't think that I'm ready. And that's the hot take. I'm not ready to hand over the reins specifically all to Jahmyr. I'm not. And keep in mind, we have not seen Jahmyr Gibbs without a David Montgomery on the roster. And if the Detroit Lions decide to move on from Monty, who are they going to place Jahmyr with? Shout out to JB Hale with the super chat. Long time, my friend. Says, I'm wondering if Demo issues are with the running back coach versus lack of Ben. JT Choice had a previous relationship with Gibbs either in college, high school, hence the bias. I don't know, bro. That's a great question. I don't know. If he was there last year, right, they were fine. They were fine last year. So that's a great question. I think it falls on it falls on the offensive coordinator and it falls on the coach. I'm not going to say that Dan Campbell he's blameless in this situation. You are the head coach. Everybody on the team is under you. You could have gone in there, had some conversations with Morton. And then Dan Campbell started calling the plays. He started calling the plays, and it still wasn't, for whatever reason, it was like they were lost without Ben Johnson, how to use David Montgomery. So for me, I feel like I'm not ready for Jahmyr Gibbs to be I don't know if I will ever be comfortable with that. I think Jahmyr Gibbs' sweet spot of carries is 15 to 20. That's just what I think. There might be a couple games that he goes off and he gets 25, 30 carries. And I mean, look at DeAndre Swift. One of the knocks about him was we didn't know how durable he would be. And in Detroit, it seemed like he wasn't durable at all. But I'm watching him run in Chicago, and I'm like, wow. I'm sure a lot of people didn't think he could be an every down back as well. So let me know what you think. Are you ready for Jahmyr Gibbs to be the lead back, like certified, meaning David Montgomery is not on the team? Jahmyr is now getting 25 to 30 carries a game. For all that talk that we like to do about people that's washed, somebody had the game of their life. Derrick Henry had 30-something carries. And I think he's like 34 or something, whatever he is. He might not be that old. But they just kept feeding him. And he got more and more strong with every carry. So I'm not ready. I'm not there yet. Let me know if you are. And if not, how close are you? Lupe with the super chat. Appreciate you, big dog. Says, do you think Brad is mad you came out with We're Good remix before him? I don't know, but I'm about to spoil something. So if somebody comes out with this, then they stole it. All right. So I am not going. I'm going to order the shirt first, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to add to it. But I'm going to get a shirt that says "Defined Aggressive," and it's going. I don't know if I'm going to put it in quotation marks or Brad Holmes, but it's going to be like "Defined Aggressive." Shout out to Nick with the super chat. Says, love Dan, but the problem with using Gibbs so much is Dan wants the explosives. That's all he says. When Dan ignored what we saw when Demo was running. You know what? And that's why I said that Dan is not blameless in this situation, especially when he started calling plays. It all fell on him. And it felt like he didn't know what to do with David Montgomery. It felt like that for sure. Ben used Monty to soften up the defense. That's when you hit with Gibbs speeds. The team didn't know what to do. Hey, Trey, facts. Aaron says Gibbs cannot be the premier running back with a suspect O-line. Monty can still do damage with a suspect O-line. And you know what? We saw that. I think Monty was averaging more carries at the end of the season, or more yards per carry at the end of the season. The punch out Brad Holmes, defined aggressive, LOL. Yeah. So yesterday, I wind up pausing the press conference at like the perfect time that Brad Holmes looked like Bald Bull. He looked like Bald Bull from Punch Out when you hit. So Bald Bull, if you guys remember, he was a character, and he used to when his special move, he used to come back and then he would rev up, and you had to perfectly time it, hit him in the stomach, and he would and fall. But he looked just like that. Dan wanted 3 runs in a row, banking on Gibbs to break one. Monty, maybe we get a 4th or 5th round pick for him. Okay. All right. So what are we doing? If somebody called you today and said, I want David Montgomery, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people on Twitter are saying the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm like, their defense sucked. I mean, look, I would hate this. No, I would hate this. Yeah, I don't want to see Monty go. Hey, D-Mac, what would you want bare minimum if we traded Monty? Because if they do trade Monty, he got 2 years left on his deal. So he definitely got some value. I don't want this to happen at all. But I have no control over it. So if Brad is going to do it, what would you want? Okay, so Pepper. Hendrickson is a free agent. He's a free agent, so we wouldn't even have to do that. Right. Says bare minimum 1st round. If Demo goes, they're going to wear Gibbs out. Andy Bear, that's what I was saying. I don't know If you know what, as a matter of fact, let's do this. Let's find out what. Okay. Can I find this out? So that's crazy. If you type in Jahmyr Gibbs, the third thing that pops up is Jahmyr Gibbs' girlfriend. that is not based off my history. That's literally what Google is looking for. That is crazy. Okay. We are going to see. I want to know, what is the highest amount of carries Jahmyr Gibbs has had in a game? All right, so he just finished his third season. In 2023, he had a total of 182 carries. 2024, 250. 2020. See, he had more carries, and this tells you that, and see, this makes me even more upset because Jahmyr Gibbs had more carries in 2024 than he did in 2023. I'm sorry, 2024 and 2025. So he had 250 in 2024, 243 in 2025. He had 200 less yards this year off 7 less carries. The offensive line is a big deal. And this tells you that you can still feed Jahmyr. He had less carries than he had last year. And you can still feed Monty. Monty was barely in the games. And when he was, it wasn't many plays to him. I think that's the problem. The usage of David Montgomery. Because Jahmyr Gibbs had more carries last year with David Montgomery not having an issue with how he was being used. So let me find out. All right. So Jahmyr Gibbs, we're going to go to game logs, and we are going to look at the 2023 NFL season. The 2023 NFL season, if we go by games. All right. So he had 26 in 2023, his rookie year. That's when we got Josh McDaniel fired. Jahmyr Gibbs had 26 yards. He had 152 carries. But typically, okay, I'm going to show y'all this because I think this tells us a lot. Jahmyr Gibbs has 1 or 2 games like this per year, okay? In 2023, this was this the first time we wore our Motor City muscle? That's crazy. All right, so he had 26 carries, which was a year high, a season high. But look at, what would you say is the sweet spot for Jahmyr? What did I say? Between 15 and 20. I myself would like to keep him right around here, about 17 yards per carry. His first game against the Chiefs, 7 carries. That's crazy. I don't even remember that. Second game against Seattle, 7 carries, 17, 8, 11. So what do you see here? What do you see? The sweet spot is about 15. It really is. In that middle of the pack between 15 and 20. Now, if we go to, let's look at the 2024 season. So 2023 was 16 carries, or 26 carries was the long or the high. Look at this. This, to me, is pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. So again, what do you see? You see a minimum like 15 to 20. 11, look at this, 13, 16, 14, 12, all of this. Then you have like, what I say, he get 1 or 2 games like this a season. In this case, he gets like 3, 21 carries, 23 carries, 20. So he went over 15 carries a few times in the season. And now let's look at 2025. This is using David Montgomery less, and it's still around the same thing. So Jahmyr Gibbs is not necessarily getting more carries. David Montgomery is not being used correctly. They're using him pretty much. As a matter of fact, his high this year was only 20. And that was against Green Bay. That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't even remember that. Braylon with the super chat says, will you live stream Packers Bears? I want to see Snake Johnson lose. You know what, B, I was thinking about, thank you for the super chat. I was thinking about it. When is it, tomorrow? I was thinking about doing that tomorrow. Yes, I was. I'm not certain yet. Depends on what I have going on, but I am leaning in that direction. I'm not set up at the moment for it, but it only take a few minutes to do that. Maybe about 30 minutes. He not running people over. Yeah, he never really has. Hold on, let me check something real quick. No. Darn it. Okay, well. Okay, that's not bad at all. Okay. All right, what did y'all think what did you think of the game yesterday? Miami, Ole Miss. And I just saw today that Chambliss has been denied his 6th year or something like that. So his college career is over. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if he is declaring for the draft. I have no idea. Horrible officiating as usual. By any means necessary, we won a Super Bowl. We won a Super Bowl with Monty or something. The Seattle Seahawks use that double running back package and they win. Yeah. Hey, the Rams are using it with Corum and Kyron. I mean, we need to keep doing that. I just didn't like what I heard yesterday. It was a classic game. Mel Kiper has it selecting Akeem. That's the dude from Miami, right? Detroit may want to look at him. Who? Chambliss? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Jared Goff has 3 years on his contract, 2 before we get it out. Would you want, okay, check this out. Yo, I love this. Look, I'm excited now. I'm excited because how much Corum make, not Monty money? Okay, well, first of all, Christian, Corum is still on his rookie deal. That's number one. Corum was also selected, 5th, 6th round, something, whatever, 3rd, whatever it was. And 3, whose fault is that? That's one man's fault. I mean, it doesn't matter. Brad paid him. So what are we talking about? So now we want to get mad at David Montgomery because Brad paid him all that money? Come on, dog. And this ain't directed at you, homie. It's just like, come on, now we doing this? Y'all be killing me with this junk. So what? Brad made this decision. So who cares how much money he makes? Brad made that decision. So nobody was complaining about it when we signed him. No one was complaining about it when we extended him. All of a sudden, now it's a problem. Nobody was like, you know what, Brad, you shouldn't have done it. When we let Jamal, nobody was saying we should have kept Jamal Williams for the cheap. Everybody was like, oh shoot, we got David Montgomery. Man, come on, bro. This junk is crazy to me. Let me see. Mad at Monty, LOL, no, we got to move on. No, okay, so let me ask you, Christian. Move on, why? And from who? From what? We got to move on, what? He's under contract. Why would you move on when you don't have, and why do we have to move on? Or am I misunderstanding you? Ben will take him, Monty, that is. You know what, coach? I was thinking that, but why? Monty doesn't need to go to Chicago. You got Swift. You signed him, although Swift signed a 3-year deal last year. So Swift is going, after this year, Swift will have one more deal. And then you just drafted Kyle Monangai. So I don't know if he goes over there, but I do think somewhere he goes. And it could be Cincinnati. I would be sick. Cap space to find edges in O-line. Christian, there are so many people that we could kind of trim from their fat before we got DeMonty. One, Taylor Decker. If Taylor Decker goes, that's going to save Detroit a lot. Then you got restructure from Goff, St. Brown, maybe Panay. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the salary cap, Taylor Decker is like top 5 in cap hit and like salary cap. So him retiring. I mean, real talk, the Detroit Lions might want that to happen. They might want it to. I know. I mean, worst case scenario, we move Penei Sewell over to the left. Like, that's worse. So I think that there's so many other ways to trim up some space than that. Steve, what up, though? Long time no see, my friend. Says we should have kept Reynolds and traded Montgomery. Reynolds would have happily taken 8 snaps a game, no complaining. Monty is too good to be a running back too. But you know what, Steve? Monty didn't care. He didn't care. Now he feels like a running back too. He wasn't last year. It was 1A, 1B. And the Lions got it. To me, Monty not even a running back too. He like a 2.5, 3, bro. He just, and we already established, like, Jahmyr Gibbs had less carries this year than last year. Monty was upset how they were using him. Like, the Wildcat stuff was low-key ridiculous. It was. Just think about it. What coincides with David Montgomery's AKA unhappiness? The loss of our coordinator. That's what I believe it is. Raw Detroit says maybe 20 to 24 touches. A name recent Super Bowl winner that had 2 top 10 paid RBs. What are we talking about? If y'all want to win a Super Bowl, get real. So, Christian, that's what we talking about? You want us to get real about 2 running back tandems? What have Super Bowl winners had, bro? A defense. Really, bro? Like, that's what we talking about? And so the Lions didn't know this in 2023 when they signed him, and in 2024 when they extended him. So now all of a sudden, now we gasp. Reality sets in. I can see it clearly now. Name what. Lions fans, I swear, I don't get y'all. I do not get y'all. We got the crappiest defense, one of the worst defense that we've had. Our team has had a bottom 15 defense all 5 years under Dan and Brad, and we worried about a doggone running back and how much he getting paid. Who, by the way, the same man that paid him is responsible for the defense. What is this? I mean, Lord have mercy. Maybe Monty will stay in with McDaniel as a top hire. You can't get a top defense playing 2 RBs. Oh, really? Okay. Well, Brad ain't the guy then. It's time for Brad to go. It's time for Bradley Mathias to go. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. So if you can admit that, Christian, then we have a deal. Do we have a deal? Do we have a deal? Bradley Mathias made him a top paid running back. Nope, Mark, not you, Christian. Christian, do we have a deal? Bradley's not the guy. Waiting on Christian's response. I'm guessing Christian at work, maybe he had to pull over. He was driving at a stoplight. Hey, Steve, I'm going to get a shirt that says, define aggressive. I don't give about Brad. I'm with you on Brad accountability. Okay, deal then. Deal. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, bro. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Deal. That's all I wanted to hear. That's all I wanted to hear. So you can keep your thoughts on Monty. Fine. I don't agree with them. Fine. As long as Brad needs to go. He needs to go because he paid him. That's why I said, man, I'm not coming at nobody but Brad. We've given you plenty of time. We've given you, and Dan, listen, Dan Campbell is not that far behind. And what I mean by that is this. You can't mess this OC up. And I don't understand why Lions fans just don't get the bigger picture. They don't get the bigger picture. Everybody's like, David Blau might be a sneaky good hire, a sneaky good move. I was waiting on the sneaky good video. I didn't see it, but maybe, I also don't watch. But I was wondering if sneaky good move is going to appear in my timeline. The Detroit Lions made a sneaky good moves, and all they did was sign a punter. Oh, by the way, Jake Bates is a restricted free agent, which I believe is the matching free agent, where you have to, the Lions can match any offer made, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's a couple like exclusive rights. I can't. It's one or the other. That's the matching one. So I just, the sneaky, Lions fans, and I'm saying to myself, well, Dan Campbell is in year 6 as well, and he is 1 for 2. And I'm gonna be real with you. I really don't count Ben Johnson as really a hire. I just don't. I'm like, to me, it was kind of a, well, you're there. You know, you were the tight ends coach. He was already in-house. I want to see Dan Campbell with like, okay, you knock it out the park with a hire that's not in-house. That's what I want to see. Both of your defensive coordinators have been, you brought one with you that you just could not let go. Then the second one, it's in-house. And then, you know what I'm saying, you utterly failed after Ben Johnson. John Morton was a disaster. I wanted to believe in him, but he was a disaster. Once I saw how he was talking, I was like, dude, is a wrap. Shout out to Lions fans with the super chat says, does my membership perks transfer over here? Does my membership? No, they don't. This is a separate channel, my friend. So that is Lions Syndicate, and this is this channel. I don't have any memberships on this channel. Maybe we'll open that up sometime this year. I'm not sure. Also, I will be doing member live streams over there this year. So unfortunately, no, but nobody's does. It's not just you, it's nobody's. That's for that account. Max Crosby cost Detroit 2 first-round picks. Yeah, unfortunately, we are not there yet. I mean, we blew that opportunity, so we're not going to be able to do that. Fun fact, David Blau was taught by the same. Fun fact, Ben and Blau were taught by the same offensive coach in college. Brad didn't entertain that D in question, though. Nope, he didn't. So basically, so we good at the press conference. Trinidad Chambliss is nice. Yes, okay, so let's have a brief conversation about the future at quarterback. I was watching them yesterday and the games before that, and I was like, you know, Detroit Lions fans are probably like, man, we need to get this guy. And I'm like, again, something else that's Brad Holmes' fault. Do you draft it came out today that Chambliss is being denied his 6 year of eligibility, so his college career is over, which means that his time quarterbacking Ole Miss is over. If you are the Detroit Lions, Chambliss or not, do you draft a quarterback this year? I'm going to say no. I don't think the Lions have only drafted one quarterback, and that was Hendon Hooker. And if Hendon Hooker doesn't fall to the third round, they will. I'm pretty sure the Lions will not have drafted a quarterback. I'm pretty sure. Now, I will say this, okay? I would say this. All right, let's have a conversation. And this will be our last segment of the day, and we're about to go overtime. The year is 2022. The Detroit Lions have the second pick in the draft. Just by the way, I don't like losing. Losing does not equal winning. Even though the draft is set up that way where the more you lose, the better the picks, you still have to ace the draft picks. You can't have all Broderick Martins and expect to win. So enough with the losing to get a better pick. Okay? That you have to make the right decisions. So now that we got that out the way. In 2022, the Lions had the second overall pick. And I remember like it was yesterday. Some Lions fans were on the train of this particular quarterback. Now, this quarterback wind up going in the third round. He went to a situation that they wind up drafting another quarterback that went in the third round. And now he's no longer on the team. The other one has a strong possibility of not being on the team. And maybe they got it right this time. And that being the Tennessee Titans with Cam Ward. And the player I'm talking about is Malik Willis. The reason I came up with this is because Lions fans it's not on the top of their list, I don't think, for a lot of players, a lot of fans. But, of course, they want somebody that can move out of the pocket on a regular basis. And it seems like the NFL is getting away from the pocket passer. And the Detroit Lions could use somebody with more mobility. They could. Right now, we don't have that. I'm not bothered by it, but it would be a good thing depending on what that quarterback does with that mobility. Are they a scrambler? Which if a play breaks down, can they scramble? Or are they a design runner? I don't want the latter. Those players get hurt. I wouldn't mind somebody, if a play breaks down, he can get a few yards and, keep the play alive. But what if the Detroit Lions do indeed, I don't know his contract details and how long he's with the Green Bay Packers. What if the Detroit Lions went after Malik Willis? in some type of free agency between now and the end of Jared Goff's contract, groom him behind Jared Goff. Would you be upset if the Detroit Lions were to get Malik Willis? I don't know what his contract is currently, so I'm going to look right now. But the Detroit Lions are going to need a backup quarterback. That is certain. And I want to know, and of course, we're going to have to move on from Kyle Allen. We have moved on from Hendon Hooker, so he's not a choice anymore. The Detroit Lions are going to need a backup quarterback. I would prefer for them not to draft anybody at the quarterback position coming into this year. I don't think that it's realistic with what needs to be done on this roster, and the Lions are in a sticky situation. That is going to be the phrase of this offseason. There are a lot of holes that they need to fill. They don't have a ton of money, and to be quite frank with you, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell do not have a lot of time. I believe that Brad has less than Dan, and I believe that that was evident in the press conference. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like Brad Holmes, he sat there, and Dan Campbell came out and said, I give myself a freaking F, me, I failed this team. And then for the first time that I can recall, I could be wrong, that Brad Holmes came out and said something similar. It was so similar. He had to say in his press conference that I'm not copying Dan. He had to say that, which usually when you say that, you like are, but it sounds really, really similar. Like Brad had a whole different speech plan until Dan came out with his speech and he was like, oh, shoot, I need to change mine. I need to add some of these talking points. So Brad Holmes may not be here. Malik Willis, let's see, because I don't know this. I'm looking at it with y'all. He was a lot of Lions fans were talking about him. I didn't know if he was, because he played at Liberty and they were talking about the competition at Liberty and is he ready to be, an NFL quarterback, that he was the only one from that team projected to be drafted. That's how the rest of the team was. So Malik Willis, he is 26 years old. So by next season, he'll be 27. Now, Jared Goff is 31. He will be 32 right after the season starts in 2026. Malik Willis signed a 4-year, $5 million, Tennessee Titans, blah, blah, blah. And then, so Green Bay, he is an unrestricted free agent in next season. He's an unrestricted free agent. So, is there a team that is willing to take a chance on Malik Willis as a potential starter for their team as they draft a quarterback to then maybe precede him a couple of years down the line? Is that a case? If so, name a team that could do that. Maybe the Raiders. They are in a massive rebuild. I don't know. I know they signed Geno Smith. This is year 1, so they're probably stuck with him. But could you see Malik Willis starting somewhere? All right. If not, how would you feel if the Detroit Lions made Malik Willis a backup quarterback offer, and we sit there and see what the potential could be as Jared Goff went out? As Jared Goff moved on, because the Lions can move on from his contract after 2027. Now, here's my issue with any move the Detroit Lions make going forward, and I think that a lot of fans need to pay attention to this. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff are all now attached at the hip. That we're going to see in 2028, we're going to see a few things happen. All 3 of them are gone. All 3 of them are here. Some of them are gone. When Sheila Hemp extended Brad and Dan, they now had the same amount of time, 7 years total. We're going into year 6. When Jared Goff got his extension, okay, Jared Goff this year was the first year of his new money. The Lions don't have a potential out until the same time that Brad and Dan are out of time. So we're talking about the end of 2027. If none of them come back, what would have to happen is Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell would be replaced. The new general manager, the new coach, would decide what they wanted to do with Jared Goff. The way the contract is set up, they have a potential out at that same exact time, which is why I think that it happened like that. That Brad Holmes made it where Jared Goff would be out at the same time. That if their job was on the line, they could move on from him. Okay? The new general manager and or coach could come in and say, Jared Goff, you're under contract. You're now 34 years old. We are going to now, with the 2027 draft, 2026, 2028 draft, we're going to take a quarterback. So in April of 2028, we take a quarterback. And that quarterback is sitting to replace Goff at the end of his contract. Or do we maybe take a chance on Malik Willis? Now, I wouldn't mind because he brings a different skill set than Goff. He has NFL experience. Is he going to take over for Jared Goff? I don't know. But I know he's had tough outings. He has. But he's also made improvement, which is what people needed to see. That's what he needed to do in the NFL. And he needed to make that improvement. I think he's definitely made enough improvement to be like a solidified backup for sure, with the possibility of like legitimately pushing a number one out of, like legitimately doing that. And I'm going to tell you what, for everybody talking about like bench Jared Goff, trade Jared Goff, blah, 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 Malik Willis might be like an ideal situation where you get him for the cheap, you bring him in, he does just that. He pushes Jared Goff. I mean, who knows? Maybe we put some plays in for him. And I'm not talking about like running plays. I'm talking about plays that may require some mobility. So I don't know. I wouldn't be mad because we need a backup quarterback. Malik Willis would bring a totally different skill set from Jared Goff. He can learn from Jared Goff. And who knows? I mean, the potential is there for Malik Willis to legitimately push a starter. So, this is a whole different time from 2022. I think 2022, he wasn't ready, and now he is more ready. But let me know, how would you feel if the Detroit Lions went after Malik Willis in the backup market? I am pretty sure he's going to be one of the top backups. I mean, he could re-sign in Green Bay. They could franchise tag him. So assuming that he gets out of Green Bay, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me see. Hooker Williams, good quarterback. What about Mike McDaniels? Yes. Mike McDaniels, I'm probably going to talk about him again on Lions Syndicate. I wanted to talk about him. This year. So Easy does it. Says Malik is going to a team where he can start. I was thinking the same thing. So before we get off, since we on overtime anyway, let's take a look at where can Malik Willis legitimately start? Because I think a starting quarterback, you have to be careful, because if Malik Willis goes somewhere to start, it's probably going to be a team that is rebuilding, right? And they're willing to take a chance on Malik as they build their draft capital, get in a place where they can sign the quarterback that they want, right? Or draft the quarterback that they want. All right, so let's do this. Who legitimately could take a Malik Willis? All right. Okay, so out of this list, to start, not Buffalo, not Dallas, not New York, Miami, perhaps. Miami Dolphins could perhaps take a flyer on Malik Willis. Not New England, not Philadelphia, New York. The New York Jets. Could Malik Willis sign a deal with the New York Jets? The rumor is that they will release Justin Fields. I don't know if Aaron Glenn is there. Washington Commanders, no. Chicago Bears, no. Baltimore Ravens currently no. Cincinnati Bengals, no. Lions, no. Green Bay Packers, no. Cleveland Browns, I don't think so. I mean, it is a possibility, but they're going to need a new coach. So I don't know. I don't think so. Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, Malik to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Steelers, yes. Minnesota, you know what? I'm going to make a video on my other channel about this, on the NFL channel. I'm trying to get some content over there. Minnesota Vikings, probably not. Atlanta Falcons, no. Houston Texans, no. Indianapolis Colts, I don't know. You got Anthony Richardson. You have talking about they're committed to potentially Daniel Jones, but they would have to re-sign him with the injury. Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers are intriguing because the rumor has it too that they have no intentions to do anything with what is his name? Bryce Young. They are not going to commit to him. That would be intriguing. I don't think so, but that could be. Jaguars, no. Saints, they're committed to what's his name? Tyler Sowell. Tennessee Titans, heck no. Nope. Tampa Bay Bucks, no. Arizona Cardinals, they're supposed to be moving on from Kyler Murray. Denver Broncos, no. Kansas City Chiefs, maybe. You go over there until Patrick is ready to go, perhaps. Los Angeles Rams, I don't think he's going to fit with McVay. Niners, no. Raiders, probably not because they're stuck with Geno Smith. Chargers, no. Seattle Seahawks, no. So, legitimately, out of all of these, where is the most likely place that you see Malik Willis potentially going to be a starter? I'm going to be real with you. I don't know. I don't know if I see a place because you got new head coach, general manager over here. Do they want, because Malik Willis is going to be in a spot where you're saying, hey, we need somebody who has starter experience. And to me, he reminds me of not necessarily in skill set, but like a Jameis Winston or a Teddy Bridgewater, where you come in and you know you can win games with this guy. Like, you know you can win games with Malik Willis. When Jordan Love went out early in the season, he won games. So, but if the general manager and coach bring him in, they are probably assuming that he's not the long-term solution. Like, they're going to come in and say, okay, we just need somebody to buy us some time while we get the quarterback that we want. And then you're here. That guy is going to be a rookie. He's probably, I don't believe in any rookie, like even first round picks, man, first overall picks to come from college to the NFL. It's a whole different thing. They barely are under center in the NFL. In college, you got there's so many changes from college to the NFL that I think that every rookie would be great if teams could afford for them to sit. But 9 times out of 10, the team sucks. They also need a quarterback. You know what I mean? Look at what the Arizona Cardinals did. They drafted Josh Rosen. They then lost. They drafted Kyler Murray. They jettisoned Rosen, and we all know what happened to him. So, ideally, I would love a rookie quarterback, first overall pick or not, to be able to sit for at least 1 year and really kind of experience the NFL from the sideline more than in the game. But that's just me. So, where do y'all think he could go? Daniel Jones is going back to the Colts. Okay, so allegedly. Okay, so nephew for head coach? For head coach? Huh. Who's going to take Russell Wilson? Wow. Okay, so I do believe if Mike McDaniel does not get hired as a head coach, that he will be the Lions offensive coordinator. And of course, all of these guys, Raheem Morris, all of these guys are going to try their hands at coaching. Now, it is a real possibility that Mike McDaniel will be a head coach again. As a matter of fact, because there are 8 teams that need a coach. Let's look and see. Let's go back to the sheet and let's see the teams that need a. Okay, I want to go. No. Okay, let's do this. Because in this case, I like the NFL website better. Dang, my wife is about to get off. That means I've been on for way too long. All right, NFL. Let's bring up the teams standing. And let's look and see what teams could legitimately Mike McDaniel go to. All right, let me see. And put it in the comment section, y'all. All right, this is what I like. I like this. You can see it better. All right, so teams that need a head coach. The Arizona Cardinals, they need one, right? They fired their guy, if I remember correctly. They need a head coach. They're also talking about moving on from Kyler Murray. So what are they doing? Could he go there? Atlanta Falcons, they need a head coach. Could he go there? We've got who else we got? The New York Giants, they got a head coach. They need a head coach. Could he go there? The Baltimore Ravens, that would be something. That would be something. Cincinnati, they should have an opening, but they don't. The Cleveland Browns. And you know who? Well, you know it's going to be an intriguing spot when Andy Reid finally retires. That Patrick Mahomes might be washed by then, but this is going to be an intriguing spot because I think the Chiefs dynasty is over. I think their rebuild is coming really soon. I think the rebuild is actually probably going to be this year. No Kelsey, no, like Mahomes is going to miss most of the year, it seemed like. So I think the Chiefs, the downfall has begun. The Raiders, and you said he interviewed with the Titans. Huh. So here's a good indication. If McDaniel only has like one, let's say the Titans are his only interview. If he doesn't get, if Mike McDaniel does not get a job, I really believe he comes to Detroit. Because think about this, and then we'll wrap up the show. If Mike McDaniel really wants to put his foot back in the ring for head coach, what better way to come to an offense that you could probably thrive in? And this is why I think that he will be the OC if he doesn't get a job somewhere else, meaning a head coaching job. He will settle for an OC job, and he will probably try to get his capital up because that's the best way to do it. And the Detroit Lions offense is like a real talk. Any OC would probably kill to come here. Look at what it did for Ben Johnson. Like, real talk. Ben Johnson was a nobody as far as, and then our offense, his creativeness made him the most coveted. For 3 seasons, Ben Johnson was the #1 head coaching candidate from any coordinator position. He was #1 for 3 seasons. He was the one everybody wanted. So out of those 8 jobs, what are the likelihood that that he goes to? Well, one of those places he already left, so he's not going there. I do believe that, and I'll probably talk about more this on Lions Syndicate when I do the video that the Lions reached out, that if he does not get hired, I think he comes here. Because this is any offensive any person that wants to be a head coach, the Detroit Lions are the best place to be as an OC, because you could do the same thing Ben Johnson did. You could come here, you could build up your stock, and then in 2 or 3 years you could peace out. I think we would get a good 3 years out of McDaniels, because what you're also going to learn too, and I think people learn from Ben Johnson, is to wait until the fit is right. If the fit is not right, for him, Carolina wasn't right, Washington wasn't right, Chicago was. I hate that Chicago was. That's the only knock I have against it. Well, that and the fact that you was already checked out in Washington. Like, he was already talking about coaching, like good, better, best, or whatever. He was already chanting the whatever that was in Washington. He was probably calling plays. As a matter of fact, the Jameson Williams play that he threw the interception, that play was called good, better, best. I'm just saying. I'm just breaking news. So, what do y'all think? Give me your thoughts. We'll talk about it and reconvene on Monday, and we will be talking about a potential Bears elimination. I don't know. But, yeah, man, I appreciate y'all, and we will see. Trying to find this. Okay, here it is. So, yeah, let me know what y'all think. And with that being said, man, enjoy your weekend. And I will see you on Monday.
Off the neighbors, whether homegrown or imported, we feeling shorted, cause we waiting on our paper. So next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City when we get back on the feet. Yeah, you don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, nothing is as pretty as the hustle. You don't know about the D, you don't know about the streets, cause when you're in the Motor City, Everything ain't pretty, but it's love though. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, where we get back on our feet. Next time when they ask you where you from, you gon' say Detroit City, when we get back on our feet. Yeah.